We're here in LA, as you guys know, the Homeless Left. We are based in LA. We get the first take on all of the Hollywood happenings, entertainment industry, music, film, TV, all of these faces that are coming to us on our screens, all of our screens, big screen, small screen, mini screens. And a lot of times they're here to help manufacture consent for whatever Western war machine effort, Israel effort we are partaking in. We need these people to do the work for us in connecting with the people with their amazing acting skills. The CIA loves working with Hollywood. They love it. They very similar industries, the entertainment industry and politics in DC. They work together all the time, concocting stories, figuring out how to present the theater of storytelling, which then again, like we said, manufactures consent for the public to get behind whatever shady operation the war machine is up to at whatever given time. With that said, Hollywokeness comes from, and we coined the term woke, Hollywoke, because wokeness is about using race and identity politics, weaponizing the feelings people have about unity and diversity, and using those against you at the same time, which is all part of the same operation. So, with that said, this week in HOLLYWOKE, we're going to look at the Bernie and AOC event that occurred here over the weekend. Starting with Bernie. Let's just start with this. This was announced that it was going to be this massive deal with Neil Young. Variety put this out. Neil Young, Joan Baez, Maggie Rogers. So they got to have the glitz and glamour, but these aren't the ones we know. Bernie used to, roll with Cardi B and the younger crowd, but he brought Neil Young in because he wants to get a little bit older crowd going. Okay. And then of course AOC is also involved with this rally, and she showed up to do her little thing. And as Bernie posted after the event, thank you, Los Angeles, for our biggest rally ever. 36,000 people came out today to say no to Trumpism, no to oligarchy, no to authoritarianism, and no to a rigged economy. Okay, so they came out to say those things, but did you give them a plan? I'm not sure he gave a plan. That's the only problem, and that's the problem when you go off of feelings. The feelings of we're going to stick it to the oligarchy generally doesn't go anywhere because there's not actually a plan. What do you mean by oligarchy, Bernie? And to see this massive turnout downtown LA, we told you guys last week we were going to attend this thing. We pulled out last minute. We did some coverage for nearby, and we went through this. I'm going to show you guys some of the highlights. The reason we didn't go into the crowd is I don't know if you guys see that picture above that Bernie posted. There's some weird shit going on in the sky there. Well, Leslie went ahead and captured this for me right before the thing started. So I'll let you guys see this. This is the kind of stuff we have above our heads. There was it got worse than this. This is the early part of the day, right before, like this was about an hour before the event started. They got progressively worse. I don't have the pictures to show that, but this is, we know what those are. Those are not normal. We don't need to talk about what they are, but we know what they are. And with that said, it seemed like this might be a bad time to be going out with 36,000 people and have any sort of shit being done to us from the sky down. So we thought we could do better, not turning up there. And this probably was for the better that we did not turn up. But this is them on the stage together. Joan Baez, Maggie Rogers. This is after the event. There's Bernie, AOC. Wow, job well done, everyone. Job well done. Well, the guy's not there. He cut out pretty quickly. I think he was getting a little heat sickness, whatever you want to call it, was none other than Neil Young. Neil Young, as you guys know, has been an avid supporter of censorship. He sold half of his album to BlackRock, and the guy has been supporting the war machine for years and years. Does he know he's doing these things? Sometimes I don't think sometimes I think these people are so dumb they don't know what they're actually supporting, and then they pretend to be on the side of the people. Well, let's see what happens when Neil Young takes the stage using his old theme. You guys know the song. He only plays a little second of it. I don't want to have the copyright issue here, but it's funny. He just starts chanting about taking America back. Check it out. This is what he did on the stage.
Take America back! Take America back! Take America back! Take America back!
It's always sad to see these old timers fall in line with the oligarchy. Let's make no mistake about it. This fighting the oligarchy is the oligarchy you're protecting. When you're protecting NATO, you're protecting the war machine, you're protecting censorship, all the things that Neil Young has been part of, knowingly or unknowingly. This is not the hippie generation that he comes from. This is not the anti-war movement of the hippies in the 60s, 70s. It's not. It's become the opposite, and that's unfortunate. We know this here in Hollywood. It's something that it's just the way it went, and I it's too bad there's not more young people standing up and writing new music that's going to challenge the literally challenge the oligarchy, because these people ain't doing it. I went ahead and tweeted out about this that yes, Neil Young is downtown LA right now. This is because I decided not to show up because of the overhead issue. But fighting the oligarchy is funny because he's the guy who sold out half his music catalog to BlackRock. He tried to boycott Spotify for not censoring Joe Rogan during COVID. He supported the Ukraine proxy war, and he's, of course, silent on the genocide in Gaza as he's shouting, "Take America back," shaking my head. A guy, I love this logo. The guy in this unknown too. It has the Bernie and Elizabeth Warren. I don't know if you guys can see that in the Pfizer shirts, which is hilarious because they're all pro Pfizer now. Neil Young has always been a loser, merely an old guy who wrote 2 good songs decades ago and lived off of that accomplishment his entire life, a relic who should have went out peacefully. Now his legacy will be that as a traitor to America. We'll see. I mean, if enough people wake up, they'll see that it's complete sellout garbage. But yeah, thank you for that response to my tweet there. It gets worse. It gets worse. I was just warming you guys up. That was just the appetizer. You guys ready for the first main course? Yeah, let's see AOC give away the game plan of what they're doing, because that's the question. What are you doing? What's the plan? I know a lot of people that showed up that said the plan is to challenge the Democratic Party to challenge them to do better, because we know they did such a horrible job this last election cycle. In fact, they've done a horrible job every election cycle. 2020 also was not a good job, just because Biden got in. It was a horrible job. It was the least horrible of the last 4. People know this, primarily the one we just lived through. So I've heard people tell me that the plan is to hold them accountable too, not just Trump. Okay, but what are you going to do about it? Well, AOC gives it away during her speech. She tells us what the plan is. Here we go.
We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too. And that means our communities, all of us coming together, choosing and voting for Democrats and elected officials who know how to stand for the working class.
Okay, there you go. So I guess we don't need you. We don't actually need you, AOC and Bernie, because you're just going to tell us to vote blue no matter who. Isn't that what we're getting from Chuck Schumer? Isn't that what we're getting from Nancy Pelosi? Are they fighting the oligarchy? I'm asking if any of you in LA here showed up to this thing, I'm asking you to ask yourself, is Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi part of the oligarchy? If you don't think they are, then I don't know what else I don't know if there's any hope for you. If you think that they're fighting against the oligarchy, if you think Nancy Pelosi is fighting against the oligarchy as she's conducting insider trading with her husband, as we talked about, and AOC later talked about, we got to get money out of politics, we got to get rid of insider trading. Like she knows those things are bad. So in one sense, you can say, oh well, she is fighting that. Well, no, she's not. She's not fighting Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, because she literally just told you to vote blue no matter who. So either they're all part of the oligarchy or they're not. And you guys know, I know it's a hard admittance. You have to, at some point, you have to come to terms with this. They're all part of it. So no, Bernie, AOC, unless you are breaking out of the party and starting your new party, Bernie already has an eye next to him, so that should work. But no, you're going to keep sheep herding people right back into the thing, and you're going to make them forget about all the things that you guys did wrong on purpose. You guys did a lot of things wrong. You took the primary away from people. You elevated a demented candidate and said it was a stutter. You started a legal proxy war in Ukraine. You did an upward transfer of wealth. You locked down an entire country and put people out of business. You destroyed kids' lives, making them wear masks for something that had a 0% chance of getting. You shut down schools. You broke up homes. You started a genocide. No accountability there. That you all voted for it. The upward transfer of wealth, which is the biggest in the human history, was the CARES Act, which you all voted for. You talked about it. Both of you guys had some words to say about it. Oh, it's so bad, and then you voted for it. Look at these people's voting records. They are the problem. They are part of the oligarchy. That's what they are. And on top of all that, you can't even say that a genocide is going on right now. We understand you couldn't say it when Biden was in charge because that's your overlord protector, but you're out here in LA putting on this theater here in Hollywood. You're putting on this theater production of we have to stop Trump. Trump is conducting a genocide. Why can't you say it? Why can't you say it? Oh, I forgot, because Israel has a right to defend itself. Say it with me. Israel has a right to defend itself. Bernie, you do it. You go ahead. You do it. You know this thing. You know it very well. You've been doing it for years. Go for it. Take it away, Bernie.
But let me tell you something else. Trump wants over $8 billion more dollars to go to Netanyahu's war machine. Israel has a right to defend itself against terrorism.
Israel has a right to defend itself against terrorism. Everybody in that crowd should have said, boo. You don't get a right to defend as you're invading and attacking and slaughtering people in every neighboring country, from Gaza to Lebanon to Yemen to Syria. You don't get a right to attack and annihilate and occupy and expand. You don't get to do that and then say you have a right to defend yourself against the people you're slaughtering. That's not how things work. And Bernie, you know that, but yet you keep doing that. That's so interesting. Why do you think so? Why do you think he's doing that? Why do you think that's not included in the oligarchy tour? Why do you think it's not included in calling out Trump? You didn't have to do it about Biden. Okay, I get it. You're protecting blue. Protect blue. But red's in charge now. Why can't you just say it? Why, Bernie? Why can you not just say it? It's so sad. Well, look, I like this tweet went out, and I'm going to play you a compilation of how bad this actually is, because this is Bernie in LA this weekend. We heard the language. For some of you guys who don't understand, this has been going on for years, that Bernie's behaved this way. Let's listen, or I'm going to play it in a second, but this is the tweet from Z Squirrel, who does amazing work on Twitter. I recommend you guys follow Z Squirrel. Bernie Sanders has never in his life said Palestinians have the right to defend themselves. So interesting. Why do you think he's never said that? That's so bizarre, isn't it? Instead, he has devoted his entire life to smearing the Palestinian resistance, angrily shouting Hasbara lies as his own, at his own constituents. And he keeps saying Hamas tunnels, Hamas in hospitals, Hamas, Hamas. Why do you think he's saying it with that accent? It's Hamas. It's an H. There's no K on there. What the hell are you doing? You dual citizenship Bernie, Israel first Bernie? Why are you calling it Hamas? Well, let's go and take a look at a little compilation that Zeke Squirrel put together to remind you guys of how horrible this guy actually is, because these things are coming out of his mouth because he chose to say them. Watch this.
aware of it. There's an argument going on in the House of Commons today about what precisely kind of ceasefire or pause Britain should be calling for. And the argument is, do you call for a humanitarian pause in the fighting, which is just literally that, a pause, or do you call for a proper ceasefire on both sides?
And the reason for, I'm sorry, but the reason for that debate is it's very, everybody wants to end the slaughter that's going on right now. Hamas is a terrorist organization. They're devoted, that's their charter, is to the destruction of Israel. Netanyahu is a right-wing extremist who is at war with the Palestinian people. If you have an easy solution to that crisis, I'd love to hear it. There is none. So I think the
I'd love to hear it. There is none. Moving on. I don't want to hear it. Okay, go on.
immediate task right now that I think everybody is agreed to, you got to stop the bombing, you got to open up the borders. Children are now starving. That is grossly immoral and cannot be allowed to happen.
But within that, do you support Israel's right to go and get its people back if Hamas doesn't hand them over?
I think
to continue that fight, because that involves
what you're talking about. Hamas began this war with a terrible terrorist attack. Israel had a right to defend itself, but Israel had a right to go to war against Hamas, but not the Palestinian people.
Okay. So you're basically, Bernie, so you're saying that it's okay that Israel illegally occupies the Palestinian people and puts them in an open air prison. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. It started on October 7th. It started on October. Got it. Okay. Go on. What are you going to say on CNN? Let's hear some more of this garbage.
I want to just clarify one thing, Senator, if I might. You support a humanitarian pause in Gaza. Some of your fellow progressives say that there should be a full-on ceasefire, which would require an agreement on both sides to halt the fighting. Do you support a ceasefire? And if not, why not?
Well, I don't know how you can have a ceasefire, permanent ceasefire, with an organization like Hamas, which is dedicated to turmoil and chaos and destroying the state of Israel. And I think what the Arab countries in the region understand, that Hamas has got to go.
Hamas.
Because I think, I'm sorry, the first name is? Kathy. Kathy raises some very important issues. Number one, has Israel, or anybody in this room, happy or feel good about the kind of civilian death that we've seen in Gaza? The answer is no. Has Israel overreacted? Have they bombed UN facilities? The answer is yes. That is terribly, terribly wrong in my mind. On the other hand, and there is another hand on this issue, you have a situation where Hamas is sending missiles into Israel. Okay. And you know where some of those missiles are coming from? They're coming from populated areas. That's a fact. Hamas has used money that came into Gaza for construction purposes, and God knows they need roads and all the things that they need, and used some of that money to build these very sophisticated tunnels into Israel for military purposes.
For survival purposes.
Okay, one second.
Yes,
now, I don't want to be interrupted. The question was asked. It's a fair question, and I'm trying to. Look, if you don't,
yes, they did.
you know, excuse me, shut up. You don't have the microphone. You've asked. You know, I don't want police officers here.
You're going to arrest people?
No, I'm not going to arrest people. But are you going to allow us? Are you going to allow us to have a discussion? What do you think?
You come down to here. You're up there. Come down to be democratic. So I can discussion with people.
Are you asking for the point?
Occupied populations have the right to resist.
All right. You're entitled to your view. You've asked the question. I'm answering it. This is called democracy. All right? All right. I am answering a question, and I do not want to be disturbed and disrupted.
Let me finish my propaganda. I'm not done with my propaganda. You're entitled to your opinion. An occupied people have the right to resist. That's not an opinion. That's an international law. That is 100% factual, Bernie. It's not an opinion. An occupied people have the right to resist. So it is for survival. The people in that crowd are 100% right. Bernie recognized that there were more people in there that were against his BS, his propaganda, which he came there to do. And he got angry. And you see that temper, the old man temper. We've seen that a few times now from Bernie, where he doesn't want to deal with something. He gets angry. This is the kind of stuff that we ignore when it's somebody that we're trying to help champion and say, oh, we're fighting the oligarchy. You are the oligarchy, Bernie. You are. And when you were done here in LA and everybody was so happy for 36,000 people, that saddens me that 36,000 people came out here to see you in AOC like something had been accomplished. Nothing has been accomplished. Nothing. And then I hear you move on to Coachella. You're going, this is a full tour. You're going to try to get the young people at Coachella. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Coachella. I enjoyed introducing the great Claro tonight. I guess as a young musician, trying to get the younger people. These are tough times. The younger generation has the chance to be brainwashed by me too. The younger generation isn't fully aware of what I did to them in 2015, 2016, and 2020. They're not fully aware of what I did. I know a lot of you thought that I was just beat up by the Democratic Party and I was the victim in it, but turns out I was in on it the whole time. But the young people don't know that, so I can keep going on my tour and telling them that we're fighting the oligarchy as we're protecting the Israel's right, not just to exist, not just to defend itself, Israel's right to invade whoever the hell they want with our money. They can do whatever the hell they want. That's it. End of story. So yeah, Bernie Sanders, AOC, you are not fighting the oligarchy. You are, by definition, controlled opposition.